Hey, so World Open War. I'm going in more or less literally a minute, and I have very, very little time to go over all the material for it. So I'm going to make a short series of videos where I talk you through the lists for each group of day one, and maybe give you a few predictions for what I think is likely to happen. Um, and then once the tournament is over, I will do the usual the meta of video, because right now I simply don't have the time. Um, so that is what I'm doing today. I'm starting with Group A, and I will talk you through the lists for that. So let's go. Let's just check. Yeah, right. I'm sharing my screen. Here we go. So this the Group A is it consists of first Poland. Poland is the highest seeded teams. The teams were seeded based on previous performance-ish and guesses and stuff like that. And I think that this was a little bit of a clever idea because it avoided some of the issues that the WTC had, where a lot of the top-seeded teams ended up in the same pool, the pool of death. And basically we beat each other bloody. But here the top seeded teams were separated into separate pools, as were the home nations. So you couldn't have a pool with two Danish teams, for instance, which was really nice because that means that we sort of get to play new people. So the pools were the top seeded ones for this, uh, like pool A, group A, and they were bringing a Soviet unit here, a Soviet platoon, 1100 points, 17 order dice, which I think is very good. Second lieutenant, inexperienced assault engineers, veteran with Panzerfaust and flamethrowers, SMGs, very tough unit. A lot of points for 5 men. LMG squad, which I don't understand. I'm going to be very interested in watching how this plays out. He's actually bought 2 LMGs, and there is no comp to make LMGs better here. Tank riders with SMGs, free rifle squad, sniper, flamethrower, medium mortar, tank hunters, 3 of those, love the tank hunters, medium howitzer, BA-10, steward, and some transport for the flamethrowers and the engineers. So a pretty box standard mixed bag platoon here, where you have some assault push elements, some support elements. I really like that platoon. It has good elements for me, I think. The inclusion of a BA-10 might be slightly controversial. Some people think the BA-20 is better. It really depends on what you think you're going to face, doesn't it? This is here because it wants to have that light AT gun as well. It's all a matter of what you think that the meta is going to be. The second platoon is a breach platoon, and we're seeing a lot of the teams bringing at least one breach platoon, which I think is clever. The Brits are clearly the top dogs right now in the meta. So 16 order dice, 1 point low. It's got Gurkha Paris, 7 men with LMGs. Which, again, I have to say, I don't understand this build, but of course it does deliver a few more shots out of the unit. We'll see. I may be absolutely wrong about this, but I think that it's wasted points. 20 points, you could have bought an extra Gurkha. Royal Canadian Engineers, flamethrowers, SMGs, stubborn, lovely unit. And with 3 Gurkha units in this mix, he does have quite a lot of punch. And there's even an infantry unit with an LMG, 7 men, backline holder. Sniper, flamethrower team, so that's the second flamethrower in the unit. We're basically seeing this a lot, where people will bring 1 engineer unit and a flamethrower team, because that will give them 2 flamethrowers redundancy and still not overpaying on flamethrowers. Medium mortar, regular with a spotter. By the way, that was the same for the Soviet unit here, a 25 pounder, a Humber, and a Chaffee. I love this, that both of the tanks here have Recce. The Chaffee is, of course, way less useful against infantry, but it is very useful against armor. So both of these platoons are basically set up so that you can fight against armor. They're predicting that there'll be a lot of armored choices. The final one is a German platoon. Very interesting. Is Germany back? And they're bringing many of the new interesting units for Germany. There's the Waffen-SS Lieutenant, Waffen-SS with assault rifles. I think single Panzerfaust would have been lovely, wouldn't it? Heer Grenadiers, 7 men, LMG. We have a Heer Pioneer Squad as well, flamethrower, 4 SMGs. That is a hard-hitting unit, veteran. Brandenburgers with assault rifles and Panzerfausts. Feldjägerdammers because they're cheap. LMG team, that's the way to go, always. The Sniper Gewehr 43, I think, which has double shots, which is really nice. Very, very likely to hit with that one. The Flamethrower team, a medium mortar, again with a spotter. Flak Zwilling, a deadly, deadly choice. Anything light, any like 8+ is going to be ripped apart by this. That's 4 shots on a +3 penetration. And then the SDKFZ 250/9, which is the half-track with an autocannon and a Kugel Blitz. Some transport at the end, so the Polish are going all in on anti-tank capabilities here. They are definitely going all in on anti-tank. Lovely. I really think that the Polish might do very well in their pool here. They're faced off against Team Wales. Now, Team Wales have unfortunately lost some of their best players because Russell is TOing. So they're down to their, not second rank because they're definitely still good, but they have lost their star player. They have a 19 order dice Soviet list here, so that is almost horde territory. Scouts to deploy forward, mounted recon to deliver flamethrowers, Strafbat because they're cheap, free rifle unit, flamethrower team, heavy mortar, inexperienced here. Dog mines, 3 of those. That's very easy. When you buy inexperienced dog mines, you very easily get a lot of order dice in your list, don't you? Light howitzer, BA-20. Here comes the BA-20 instead of the BA-10. A steward and some transport, including double brain carriers for the recons. So again, a very, very strong list. Many of these Welsh lists are extremely strong in my opinion. 3.5s, 4s, 4.5s. Very, very, very good lists. Second list that the Welsh are bringing is an American list, 14 order dice, so a little lower, which I think could become a problem because you would want, ideally, if you're running Americans, to have at least parity in order dice because you're skirmishing. So you don't want to have fewer units than the opponent. But he's buying a lot of veterans. Look at this. 4 veteran Marines with BARs, 3 BARs, pistols on them, so they are a tough fighter. They are very standoffish, very standoffish. You don't want to charge them. You don't want to stand off, by the way, because you're going to get BAR'd. So very strong skirmish capability here. Engineers with flamethrower, BARs, sniper, veteran, to keep him survivable. So this is a list that wants to stay alive. Regular flamethrower for that second flamethrower. Look at that. Always 2 flamethrowers. Heavy mortar here with a spotter. 114mm inexperienced. That's the multi-rocket launcher. A Recce Jeep and a Stuart Flamer. The Stuart Satan has a flamer. So very, very interesting choice here. Very survivable. It will pound you at range, and if you move into close combat range, those Marines are veteran, tough fighter. That's going to hurt. The final one is, of course, a British list, which is with the Up and Adam special rule, 17 order dice, second lieutenant inexperienced, Paragurkas, all the way Paragurkas. 2 of them 6-man, the rest of them 8-man units. That is 5 Gurkha units. That is insanely strong. Sniper, flamethrower team, medium mortar, inexperienced. Piat team, 25 pounder. Airborne recce jeep, 10 shots out of this one. 10 shots. And a darker steward and some trucks. So that is the Welsh team. I think just looking at these, that the Welsh lists are stronger. Looking at the players, the Polish might be a little bit stronger. So that will be interesting. They are faced off against Snafu, the American Snafu team, well known for their podcast. And they are bringing Soviet list here. 15 order dice, a little low, but not massively so. With a second inexperienced lieutenant, scout squads, 2 of those. Look at that. 7 men, 7 SMGs. Very, very strong. An SMG squad with 12 SMGs in it. This needs transport, by the way. I think it does have that, but that is a lot of SMG power. This is really leaning into like close range Daka, this list. An LMG squad with 7 SMGs and no LMG. And the free rifle squad. Flamethrower team, medium mortar, inexperienced, and 3 Ampumulets. I've played against an Ampumulet like once, and I have no idea why this is here, why this is good. I will have to see. I'm reserving judgment on whether this is a good idea or a bad one. The CIS-3 is definitely a good idea. The BA-20, very strong. That brings the second flamethrower into the list. The T-28, that's of course a Daka tank. Sorry about brain fart. And yep, look at this. An MMG truck to transport that SMG unit up to the front where it needs to go. So a lot of Daka in this one. A lot. The only thing I'm slightly worried about is the order dice count, but not massively so. Most of the lists are on 16 order dice. So, second list is a British one, and unfortunately they have, point for 1 SMG, but didn't take it. Oh, that sucks. So, second lieutenant inexperienced, 2 Gurkhas, veteran, lovely, 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 lovely. 8-man units. That's just the way I would like to run them. I know 7 men are mathematically better, but I like the extra durability of an 8-man. SAS lead squads, 4 men, SMGs, veteran, fanatic, all the jazz that you can get with SAS. Very, very survivable. And Maori infantry, again, very, very strong assault infantry, slightly cheaper than the Gurkhas because they don't have all the special rules of the Gurkhas, but they are very good still. So this is a push army, very much so. Flamethrower team, inexperienced medium mortar, SAS bazooka, nice. It does cost 70 points, so it is expensive, but it does give you that anti-tank capability, which can be difficult to get for Brits. Light arty, that's the 25 pounder again. Humber and a Steward. Ooh, look at this. 2 SAS transport jeeps. They are really nice because they have Daka, and they at the same time they have the transport capability. And if I remember correctly, they're more than just a transport, which means that they don't die if they're closer to the enemy, so they become armored cars. Really, really nice. Again, a very tricky, very nice, very good push army here from the Americans. You can see this Pool A, it's going to be difficult predicting who will win Pool A because all of them have really nice lists. The final one is an American one for Americans, of course. 16 order dice, very good order dice count here. We have a lieutenant inexperienced. We have regular infantry with 2 BARs, lovely units, very strong as well, 8-man units. And then recon units with 1 BAR, 1 SMG in it. Again, very good skirmish infantry to set up here. 3 MMG teams. I don't understand these, even in experience, but again, I think it lends into that spamming infantry units that can take objectives and still deliver pins. So it is a part of their idea of the skirmish capability here. A heavy mortar inexperienced, a bazooka team, because you need that. A multi-rocket launcher. Again, something to bombard the enemy with at range. The M8 Greyhound is there as a vehicle killer with a light AT gun and an HMG. It's really, really good at doing that. It is unfortunately open-topped. And a Chaffee as well as a vehicle killer. And look at this. They've got MMGs on both of their Dodgers here, so that is again skirmish capability. Lovely lists for the Americans, very strong as well. I am hard pressed to think of who can win this group. Then we have South Africa, um, who is bringing a Soviet list here, and I'm guessing I know who this player is because I've already played against this list and the player. 16 order dice, and that is basically veteran spam. Look at that. He's bringing 4 units of 8 veterans, Panzerfaust in most of them. That is extremely survivable. Extremely survivable. Very, very, very hard to kill. Even for like assault units or stewards, that is very, very hard to kill. The sniper is there, the flamethrower is there, because that's just so useful. Heavy mortar, inexperienced, 2 dog mines and a tank hunter team, again veterans, double Panzerfaust. Something to throw up there and block an area where you don't want enemy armor to go. SIS-3, BA-6, which is again I think one of those with a light AT gun, and a steward and a gas jeep for the flamethrower. Lovely, lovely, lovely squad this. Lovely platoon. It's very difficult to kill and it has a lot of capabilities in it. Then we have the British list for the South African team, and it's bringing Vengeance to shed those pins for all the units, which I think is a clever idea. It might just work. Second Lieutenant, double Gurkhas here, 8-man Gurkhas. One of them has a lot of SMGs in it, and 2 Royal Engineers, so bringing redundancy, also a clever idea. 7 Infantry Regulars, they're a skirmish unit or a backline holder. Then he brings a sniper, a flamethrower team, a medium mortar, inexperienced. A Piat team, because you need a little bit of anti-tank punch. A little bit. 25 pounder, very good artillery piece, isn't it? And an M3 Grant. Now the Grant, like the Lee, has multiple anti-tank guns. So that is why he brings it. It's an anti-Stuart measure. It is expensive, but might just work. Double jeeps for the small teams, and half track for, I guess, one of the infantry units up here. Maybe the engineers? Yeah, the engineers. Interesting to see if Vengeance pays off, and if the player remembers to roll for it all the time, because that's one of the things that happens to me when I play with Vengeance. I often forget to roll it, which sucks. The final list for the South Africans is a Japanese one. I am really rooting for the Japanese here. They have not been doing well this last year, so let's see if they can actually do well. 17 order dice, good order dice count, and it's the Bamboo Horde. So 4 bamboo units, full strength, 15 men. That's a lot of guys to chew through. Really, really a lot of guys. An IGA engineer squad with a flamethrower. Again, look at that. That's a 12-man regular unit. This is a horde and a half. There's a lot of units here. A lot of bodies. A sniper, regular. A flamethrower team. Suicide anti-tankers, veteran. Making them that little bit more survivable. Interesting choice. We'll see if it pays off. A cannon of some sort, a Type 92, 6 men and a spotter. I think it's a heavy or a medium howitzer. A tankette with the MGs, lovely, and a Horo. The Horo, of course, being there to deliver that howitzer. So this is a list that lives on their ability to bombard you at range while you don't want to move up, because then you'll get the engineers or the flamethrower in the face, and then you'll be charged by bamboos. Is it enough? I don't know. Now, who do you think would win with these 4 teams? If I have to put my money down, I am putting my money down on the Polish just because I think the players there are slightly better. Um, Although I think the Welsh and American lists are also extremely good. There's a lot of chances being taken for the South African lists here, which I think might pay off, but I'm not absolutely sure that they will. Which means for me, I am putting my money on Poland, I think. Uh, but let me know in the comments what you think. Right, that was Group A. I will see you next time for Group B. Cheers.